Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudiriyet. Nashtiprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Putle Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaurvani Pracharine Nero Vishesha Shunyavadi Pasha Tadeshatari. So today we have few more guests, attendees here. Harinath Prabhu is here, welcome Prabhu. And Pooja Mataji is here from Seattle with her daughter Sanskriti. So they have also joined, that's great. Good to have you all. And Poonam Mataji has also joined for Bhagavatam class. So continuing with our discussion on the first chapter of first canto, first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. It's a little long purport, that's why it's taking a little longer. So yesterday we stopped at this paragraph where Prabhupada wrote about Gayatri Mantra. And then later on, Prabhupada is talking about Srimad Bhagavatam is a narration of the Swarupa of the Lord manifested by his internal potency. And this potency is distinguished from the external potency which has manifested the cosmic world, which is within our experience. So Srimad Bhagavatam is a narration of the Swarupa of the Lord manifested by his internal potency. Means this is the narration of the spiritual world. This is not the narration of the material world. And Prabhupada writes, Srila Vyasadeva makes a clear distinction between the two, between the cosmic world or the external potency and the manifestation of internal potency, which is the spiritual world. He says that the manifested internal potency is real, whereas the external manifested potency in the form of material existence is only temporary and illusory, like a mirage in the desert. So this external potency, which is manifesting this material world is only temporary and illusory. It is there. It's not like it doesn't exist. Example is given just like sometimes people in the dark, if there is a rope lying on the floor, they think it's a snake. But it doesn't mean the snake does not exist. Snake exists somewhere else. But this rope looks like a snake. And why it looks like a snake? Because it is dark and person cannot see it properly. So this is the reason, this material world, because of our ignorance, it looks permanent and it looks very much real. But the real world is somewhere else. That is the spiritual world. That will always be existing. This is also, Bhagavad Gita also talks about it, that spiritual world will never be, never deteriorate, that nothing will happen, it will permanently existing. But this material world it's temporary, it exists for a while. Just like for us, this for a while is very long period, just like we discussed yesterday, it's 311 trillion 40 billion years. And it's a very, very long time. As close as we can say, it's pretty much close to eternity. But from the point of view of Krishna in Golok Vrindavan, it hardly exists for him. Prabhupada later writes, in the desert, mirage, there is no actual water. There is only the appearance of water. Real water is somewhere else. So similarly, the manifested cosmic creation appears as reality. Manifested cosmic creation in this material world, it appears as reality. But the reality of which this is but a shadow is in the spiritual world. So the real world is a spiritual world. Absolute truth is in the spiritual sky, not the material sky. That's why many times when we read Prabhupada's purport, he again and again writes, Krishna is the absolute truth. He is a supreme personality of Godhead, but he is the absolute truth. Why absolute truth? Means in the material world, everything is relative. We are like, I'm rich compared to some poor people, but I'm poor compared to some other rich people. So it's all relative. Everything is relative here. But in the spiritual world, everything is absolute. And especially Krishna, he is a supreme absolute truth. Means all the realities exist in him, and he remains as it is forever, eternally. In the material world, the only absolute that comes closest is the spirit soul. It remains as it is. But the conditioning of the spirit soul, or the consciousness of the spirit soul, it keeps on changing. And that's why it also appears as this is a relative. But the spirit soul, nothing happens to the spirit soul. This is what Krishna mentions in Bhagavad Gita. But since the consciousness keeps on changing, we think soul is also changing. The soul does not change. So because the soul belongs to the spiritual world, it's a spirit soul. It's not material soul, it's a spirit soul. So later on, Prabhupada writes, in the material sky, everything is relative truth. That is to say, one truth depends on something else. Also, this is also one of the definitions of relativity. One truth depends on something else. Right now, if we look at our situation right now, somebody is living in Seattle, somebody is living in Delhi, somebody is living in Gurgaon, somebody is living somewhere else. But this is all dependent upon, say, my requirements, my visa conditions, or my family conditions. That's why I'm living in this place. It's relative, it's dependent. But Krishna is the only one who is completely independent. That's why this word comes in the shloka, swarat. That is to describe Krishna. Krishna is swarat. He is completely independent. He is not dependent on anybody for his position, for his dealings, his pastimes, or anything. Of course, he appears as dependent just to make the pastime sweeter. But for his truth, his reality, his position, his existence, he does not depend on anybody. That's why he is the absolute truth, supreme absolute truth. This cosmic creation results from the interaction of the three modes of nature, and the temporary manifestations are so created as to present an illusion of reality to the bewildered mind of the conditioned soul, who appears in so many species of life, including the higher demigods like Brahma, Indra, Chandra, and so on. So temporary manifestations are so created as to present an illusion of reality, and this illusion of reality is to whom? To the bewildered mind of the conditioned soul. This reality, or the illusion of reality, or the temporary reality, it does not bewilders the liberated souls, because they can see what is what. They can see this is all Maya, this is all illusion, this is all unreal. And the real thing is in the spiritual world. It's just like, to give you an example, we all like to watch movies. Some people still do, some people used to. But everybody used to watch movies. So suppose, let's take an example of a good actor, say Amitabh Bachchan. So Amitabh Bachchan, he acts maybe like a smuggler in one of the movies. So in that movie, he has his own set of relatives, mother, father, maybe girlfriend, maybe wife, kids. He has sets of friends, set of enemies, and the whole movie goes on for 3 hours. and later on maybe he dies or maybe he survives and the movie ends. And the next movie, maybe he's acting as a police officer. Again, he has set of his brothers, sisters, mother, father, and relatives, some enemies, some friends, and some lots of drama, emotion, commotion, everything, fighting, whatever. And the movie ends in 3 hours. And maybe next movie, he's acting as a businessman. Again, he has a set of relatives, set of mother, father, brother, sister, girlfriend, wife, whatever, enemies, friends. Again, whole set of dramas, emotions, everything. And the question is, which one is real Amitabh Bachchan in all this? Is it any of them is real Amitabh Bachchan? No. Real Amitabh Bachchan is in his house, living with his wife, Jaya Bachchan, and kids and whatever. Even considering that as real, even that is not real because that will change. Even for timing, if you assume that is real, then we say. So when he is acting in these movies, but these movies, when we watch these movies, he looks very real. Everything looks very real. Everything is perfect. And looking at watching these movies, we also get the same kind of emotions. When he is crying, some people start crying. When he is happy, people become happy. When he is hurt, people start feeling, oh, I am hurt. But it is not real. It's just a movie on the screen. And in fact, that's why it is said, they show the movies on the screen in complete dark. Because they have to put us in ignorance, otherwise we'll not enjoy the movie. So that's why we are in ignorance when we see that movie. But regardless, now when he is acting in that movie, so the director knows this is all drama, nothing is real, right? So when the director watches that movie, I don't think he gets the same emotions as the audience like us. And maybe even Amitabh Bachchan was also watching the same movie. He's not going to get the emotions. He's going to just see how he acted. But because we are in ignorance, we think that movie is real. So similarly, now you project that same movie philosophy on our life. So in this life, we have our set of relatives, mother, father, brothers, sisters, husbands, wives, kids, other relatives. We have some friends, we have some enemies. That movie lasts for 3 hours. This movie goes on for 70, 80, 90 years. And before this movie, we were acting in some other movie. And after this movie, if we don't go back to the real place, the spiritual world, we will be acting in some other movie. But it's just a movie. There is no reality in this. If we ask anybody, suppose right now in front of me is Poonam Mataji right in the middle screen, so I will just ask you. So right now, Poonam Mataji is acting as Poonam Mataji and relatives, friends, whatever, family, everything is there. So last movie, you were somebody else. Movie prior to that, you were somebody else. Movie following this, you were somebody else. You will be somebody else. Who is real Poonam in all this? None. Actually, none. Real Poonam is the spirit soul. Well, actually, the spirit soul doesn't have the name Poonam, but Poonam name is given to this body. So the spirit soul is a reality. Rest everything is relative truth. Because there's a condition and we are related to each other, it's all relative. There's no absolute truth in this. But when we are in this movie, in this lifetime, everything looks so real, so truthful. And when we are in this movie, something goes wrong, we are crying, something goes right, we are very happy, and oh, this is a real thing. I get the best nectar out of this. I'm very happy. And then when we are crying, something goes wrong, we are crying, oh, this is the end of my life. Nothing is going right. And we go to psychiatrists, we go to counselors, this. But nothing is real. It's just a movie. We play our part in this movie so nicely, so much to the perfection that actually everybody, all of us should get an Oscar award. We play our parts perfectly, thinking I am this body and I have to act like Poonam, I have to act like Pooja, I have to act like Dipanshu, I have to act like Pramod Mohanty. We are doing our parts very, very nicely, to the perfection, to the minutest details. But in reality, this is nothing. It's just a part. We are playing for 60, 70, 80 years. That's all. So the person who is liberated, who is not conditioned by these three modes, he can see and he can tell us, you rascals, this is just Maya, this is just you're playing parts. This is not you. And that's why Prabhupada used that word rascals again and again and again and again. I'm not saying we should not do our duties when we are given the duties in this movie. I'm not saying that. Please do the duties properly towards your family, towards the kids, towards the society, towards everybody. But understanding this is not the real truth. This is not the reality. Amitabh Bachchan also, when he plays a part in that movie, he does it properly. That's why he is the greatest, one of the greatest actors. And we also should do our part properly. If we are working, we should do the work properly. If we are at home, take care of the family nicely. Yes, we have to. And this body is made of three modes, yes, but we have to take care of the body because body is important for the soul to function. So we have to properly take care of the body, maintain the body, no doubt. But at the same time, understanding I'm not this body. Our reality is not in this material world, it's in the spiritual. Our reality is we have an eternal relationship, eternal connection with the original creator, who is Janmadi Asya Yata. From the beginning of this verse is Krishna. We all came from him, we all have a relationship with him, and that is the real relationship. There is no illusion in that. And only thing is we have forgotten that relationship, we just have to revive that relationship. While keeping in mind, okay, we are given responsibilities, we are given relationships in this movie of 70, 80, 90 years, we have to properly take care of these also. But the focus should be on Krishna. And that is the real life. Otherwise, people keep on living. If you go around, if you look in the market, anywhere, there's so many people, millions and millions and millions of people. They're just acting their parts in the movie. That's all. They're not worried about what's the goal of life, what is the reality, what is the fact, where did I come from, who am I, where I'm going, what I'm doing here. They don't know. And they're not even bothered about that reality. So those who are the students of Srimad Bhagavatam, they should, because this is how Bhagavatam starts. We should worry about who am I? We should not worry, we should try to figure it out, find out, and who am I, and now how to revive that relationship with Krishna. So this is what Prabhupada is writing. In actuality, there is no reality in the manifested world. There appears to be reality, however, because of the true reality which exists in the spiritual world, where the personality of Godhead eternally exists with this transcendental paraphernalia. So there appears to be reality here. We have these relatives, we have friends, we have so-called enemies. Actually, nobody is an enemy of the soul. But the real reality is in the spiritual world because we have a family there. We have friends there. And that's a proper writing where the personality of Godhead eternally exists. He's eternally existing in the spiritual world. And so do we. But then the question arises, somebody can ask, you're saying we are eternally existing there, then what are we doing here? I mean, is this illusion? No, it's not illusion. In a way, what we see is illusion, but our presence here is temporary. Just like yesterday we discussed, one blink of eye in Golok Vrindavan is equivalent to many breaths of Mahavishnu. And one breath of Mahavishnu, this whole universe comes into existence, stays for some time, and goes back into the body of Mahavishnu. And for this given universe, this duration of one breath of Mahavishnu is 311 trillion 40 billion years. So suppose one soul comes from spiritual world and he falls down and he comes in this material world. He stays here for 311 trillion 40 billion years. And finally he finds the real purpose of life and he attains perfection, goes back to Golok Vrindavan. So by the time he goes back to Golok Vrindavan, it was not even one complete blink of eye of Krishna before this soul fell down and he came back. So in terms of eternity, even half blink of eye of Krishna means nothing. So maybe we are away from Krishna for maybe one blink, two blinks, three blinks, four blinks of eye. We could be away. But in compared to eternality, this is nothing. So that's why it is said, we have our families there in the spiritual world. We are just separated from them, or we are separated from Krishna in the spiritual world for few blinks of eyes. So that gives us some satisfaction. But here in the material world, it feels like, oh, we've been here forever. And here also it's called we are eternally here, Nitya Baddha, ever conditioned, because we are here for such a long time. When we calculate from the material point of view. So here also we are here for a long time when we look at the clock here, but from spiritual world clock, we will be away from Krishna for a few blinks of eyes. That doesn't mean we should prolong that. We should try to go back as fast as we can, because to understand the reality is very important. Otherwise, like material world is Janma, Buddhi, Jara, Vyadi. Birth, death, old age, disease. And we'll be rotating in this cycle in different species of life. We can keep on rotating, thinking of this movie is real, no, that movie is real, no, this movie is real, this movie is real. And every lifetime we think this movie is real. Exactly, it is. But we have to separate us from this movie. We have to separate us from the part we are playing and then see from the top, like they say in a bird eye view. You look from above, you see from the top. And then we'll realize, because we have the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is here to dissipate all kinds of ignorance. And when we are in the light, we can see properly. It's not me. This is not me, actually. I'm just playing a part of a wife, of a husband, of a friend, of a brother, or a sister, a son, or a daughter. That's all. But actually, it's not me. And actually this knowledge of body and soul, this is the first knowledge that Krishna gave in Bhagavad Gita. From there, the Bhagavad Gita starts, and Bhagavad Gita is considered the elementary school knowledge of the spiritual life. of the elementary school knowledge, the very first knowledge, ABC, is I'm not this body, I'm spirit soul. And the whole spiritual knowledge, the whole spiritual progress is dependent of our understanding, of our realization of this fact that I'm not this body, I'm a spirit soul. That's why Bhagavad Gita, the foundation is very, very important. And people want to, like Prabhupada also writes in the Prabhupada, people want to jump over to the Krishna's Raslila without even having the proper foundation of understanding of Tattva, the philosophy of Siddhanta. And that's where they make mistakes. So it's already 8:57. So today this is I would say this is thought for the day. Please think about it. Please do some heavy thinking, some concentration on this, that this is just a movie. Actually, if you look at it, it's just a movie that we are playing our parts in. That's all. But we should do the parts properly, play the parts properly. But at the same time, thinking of the real movie that we are part of in Krishna Leela. Hare Krishna. So I'm going to unmute you and see if anybody has any question.
Yes,
Hare Krishna. Any questions or comments?
Yes, Prabhuji, do we have a or we have Krishna as an individual, and especially Guru in the spiritual world, Krishna is there also.
Some of there's too much echo in what you're saying. I couldn't hear it properly. Can you ask the question again?
Hare Krishna. Am I audible?
Yeah.
My question is, in spiritual world, do we have a relationship with Krishna only, or we have relationship with other souls as well, and especially with Guru?
Oh, in original Swarupa, we have relationship with other souls. Just like Krishna, when he comes, and so many of his associates come, like Nand Baba, Yashoda Maya, other cowherd boys are there, cowherd girls are there. And they have their own families. So in Golok Vrindavan, it's actually the families and the friends, and they all get together. They have different functions, different interactions between all of them. So it's not just Krishna and us, it's the whole setup is here. Is that okay?
Yes, Prabhuji, and Prabhuji, one more question. Guru and disciple relation is from many lives. So in spiritual life also, Guru's relation is there with disciple. I mean, in spiritual world.
Yeah, in the spiritual world, we serve Krishna under the same Guru, under the guidance of the same Guru. But the position of the Guru, or the Swarupa, the real word is Swarupa of Guru could be something else. It could be of a Manjari, it could be of a Sakhi, it could be of a cowherd boy, I don't know. That depends on the relationship of Guru with Krishna. So remaining under the guidance and the protection of that person, we keep on serving Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Is that okay?
Hare Krishna.
So should we stop here? It's already 9:01 a.m. and everybody has to go to work.
Yes,
Should we
Prabhuji.
stop? Okay. Thanks a lot, Prabhu. I really appreciate your giving time and keeping me in your service. Thank you very much. Jai Shri
Thank you
Prabhupada.
very much, Prabhu.
Very much.